I'm starting at Fisher's Gap Overlook, which is a very nice view, but it's very cold out. The forecast says it's supposed to get up to 60 today, but it's 8 right now. It's probably 40 something degrees, but with the wind blowing it feels much chillier. I just have a slack pack today, some food, some warm clothes. I'm gonna try and get as close to Swift Run Gap as I can, but that's gonna be, I think, 20 miles in total. There's a point right before the gap, 15 and a half miles, I think. So I'm hoping I can get there. If I can do 10 miles with a heavy pack, then hopefully I can do 15 miles without a heavy pack. And hopefully it warms up just a little bit. I don't want this to be hot, but a little bit warmer would be nice. There's a woodpecker active up here. I thought it was someone screaming at first. These woods are a mess. Trail's nice and clear though. Going around Big Meadows campground right now. This is one of the views. It's probably completely obscured in summer. Take this path up, it goes to the lodge. I thought we were going to get close to the campground. We just went around it and it's open, so there were people sleeping, but when it is open, there are coin-operated showers, there's a bunch of sites, there's a little store. If you walk down the road, the wayside has like a restaurant and more options. So that is a couple options if you want to stay in the park or stay at an official place in the park, because you're probably not going to get off the mountain every night. If you wanted to have someone come and slack pack you, this is probably the best section to do it, because there's 3 campgrounds. There's a 4th one, but it's a group site, so if you have a group of, I think, 15, you can stay there. But if you don't, then you can go to Lewis Mountain, Loft Mountain, and Big Meadows and just like work your way up the trail, which is what my family did. So this signpost actually says the lodge. We also have a picnic area and an amphitheater. This trail, which is just past the other one, probably goes to the same place. I don't know what they do in the amphitheater because I've never seen them use it. And then Lewis Falls is down this trail if you want to take a 0.9 mile side trail. This is the backside of the lodge. Not sure if it's open right now. Most stuff opens in April. I've never stayed in either of the lodges, so I can't recommend that. The reviews for them don't look very good. So back in the trees, it's not super windy. There's a little overlook here, and it is chilly over here. This looks like a pretty recent break. At least it's easy to get around. There's a lot of trees down in this little section. I stepped on one that was super rotted, and the bark gave way and I almost fell, which would not have been good, because I probably would have impaled myself a little bit. This is Tanner Ridge Road, and this is the cemetery here. And I believe this one is still active. But most of these headstones look pretty new. I can walk around and look at some of them. These ones here are so old that they don't even... This one kind of has writing on it. I can't really read it though. I can read died Jan, and that's it. John Lloyd Thomas, July 1901 to January 3, 1932. Donna Carroll, infant daughter of C.W. and B.C. Serbach. Clarence, 1910, 1995. Beulah, Beulah, 1920 to 2010. Vicky Settle, September 7th, 1958 to June 6th, 2021. So that one's probably the newest one here. Their families come and still put flowers and stuff. I'm gonna look at a couple more and then keep going. There's two little rocks right over there. Terry, 1968 to 2011. This one doesn't even have any markers on it. It's kind of buried. This looks like someone was buried here, but there's no marker of any kind. 1903 and 1902 are probably the earliest ones I've seen. But of course, the ones that have been lost with time could be older than that. I think this is 1870 to 1917. That one might be the oldest. 1935 to 2010. 1930 to 2012. I'll look at this one and see if it's legible. 1850 and 1847. That one doesn't look like it has any writing on it. What's on this side? I think it's an army headstone. It's kind of hard to read. These could be markers, or these could just be rocks sticking up out of the ground. But that's the cemetery on Tanner's Ridge Road. Someone wrote the distances on here. This is Millam Gap Trailhead. Ooh. Apples were a cash crop. Which is apparently also a type of apple. And President Herbert Hoover was coming out here. This is where you'd park if you want the Mill Prong Rappahannock Camp hike or Tanner's Ridge, which is what we just hiked down. So that's where the cemetery is, and this is where we are here now. And then that goes to Rappahannock Camp. I think you cross the street up there. I thought about doing that hike, but it was too cold and there's several river crossings. When my dad was driving me up here, we saw probably 15 or 20 deer just standing on the side of the road. I've not seen a single deer in the past 2 hours. So I guess they have all gone to take a nap somewhere. I've been moving at roughly 2 miles an hour, maybe a little less, which is pretty good. The next 2 miles is all a climb though, so I think it's going to go down a little bit. So I'm eating a snack to get ready for that. But it's not really hard. It's pretty nice so far. In the section I did in the south and the northern districts were pretty nice. It's just kind of annoying because there aren't that many views and you're just in the trees and it's kind of blah. Especially since stuff hasn't started blooming yet. There's a lot of people out today. It's a Sunday. There was a guy in front of me, but I kept stopping to take pictures and videos and stuff. I don't know where he went because I was at the cemetery for a little bit. It is almost 11 and I'm about halfway up this climb. Most of it has been this really nice grade. Is that the word that I want? On far out, it looks like the next part's steeper, but shouldn't last as long. And then the elevation gain and loss for today is about even. So there isn't too much up or too much down. But of course, in between that, something could be steep. But I think I'm 5 miles in now, and it's been pretty decent, especially since I only have like maybe 10 pounds, probably closer to 5 in my pack. This is Hazeltop Summit. No view. Mini rock. Just passed a couple guys who said they were surveyors, looking for a rock somewhere in the section that was, I don't know when it was placed, but someone found it like 24 years ago. And the rock connects, I already forgot, the Rappahannock, I don't think it's the Chesapeake, the Potomac maybe? I don't know, it connects to like watersheds. And they're up here looking for it, but if no one has seen it for 24 years and the woods look like this, they're gonna have a heck of a time trying to find it, unless it's like one of the concrete pillars. But I wasn't looking, but I didn't see anything weird. It is noon now. I am 7.8 miles in. Swift Run Gap is 10.8 miles away. Heat has come out now. It's significantly warmer than it was this morning. Might have to take some layers off. This is the back of the Bear Fence Rocks. It's a side trail, but the AT is also very rocky right here. This is the top of the climb. This is a loop trail with a viewpoint, a rock scramble. Let me strike up with the AT in a couple spots. If you wanted to do this instead of this trail, because there wasn't really anything exciting on it. One issue I have with the AT in Shenandoah is that nothing exciting is along the trail. It's all stuff off trail. And other parts of the trail have like waterfalls and interesting rock things, and this doesn't. It's a little view of the mountains through the trees. This will be completely blocked when the leaves come in. Found this nice little rock to stop and eat on. I've hiked 8.8 miles. Swift Run Gap is 9.7. And my hip is starting to act up. It's not as healed as I thought it was, because it hasn't hurt in a while and I've been doing stretching. But because the elevation gain and loss is kind of similar, it's not too bad. I'm afraid someone's gonna come, because when I was at the top, someone started coming down. I was like, ah, there's a lot of day hikers out. And I know I complained about there not being any people out before, but now there's too many people out, including me. Took my hoodie off because I was hot, and now I'm cold. Hopefully when I go back up this hill I'll be hot again, because I was sweating going up the last one. I keep trying to film, but there keeps being people. I don't know how other YouTubers film in public. I feel very embarrassed. But I also just don't like being perceived, which is a weird sentiment for a YouTuber. Big Meadows is 7.8 back. Swift Run Gap is 9.3 ahead. I think this is a little parking area. Bear Hut turnoff, I guess. Smoky Mountains has 900 miles of trail, and if you complete them, there's like a little certificate or whatever. Shenandoah has the Shenandoah 500. So once I've hiked all of the AT here, then I am like a fifth of the way to finishing it, which is pretty cool, but it's gonna take a lot longer to get all of those other trails done, because I think they include boundary hikes, and I hate starting at the boundary because a lot of them are like private parking. So I haven't really been to any of them. Old Drag is one that does that. That's supposed to be a really nice hike. See this shiny thing down here, but that's the Bear Fence Hut. It's 0.3 off trail, so I'm not gonna go down there. But there it is. I don't remember seeing this sign at Big Meadows, but we're almost to Lewis Mountain Campground. I'm not sure if that one's open or closed. Big Meadows might be the only one open. I know Loft Mountain, which I always get mixed up with Lewis Mountain, is closed. This is Lewis Mountain from the trail. I thought there were 4 campgrounds, but there's actually 5. Matthews Arm, Big Meadows. I already forgot the name of this one. Lewis Mountain, the last one, and Dundo, which is the group site. Big Meadows, Loft Mountain, Matthews Arm, Lewis Mountain. I know how to count. So the walk around this campground is pretty chill. And then there's maybe a 2-mile climb after that, which goes down to the picnic area right before Swift Run the Gap. I'll see how I feel when I get closer to that, because once I leave the picnic area, I have to keep walking to the entrance. So I'm debating if it would be better to stop or keep going, because there's a little bit of a climb after that, but that would be almost 20 miles, and I'm not sure if I can do quite that much, even though I've been doing pretty good so far. Found a plant that's starting to get its leaves back. That was my favorite part of spring, was watching everything come back to life. And all the flowers blooming. Kind of felt like it happened overnight too, so it was like boom, flowers. This little cabin right down here. I think it's one of the PHEC ones. Never stayed in one of those either. There's a bear box down there. And some other building over here, maybe an outhouse? It is the Pocosin PHEC cabin. 55 yards on the left. There's a little path that goes down there. It's also a spring. There's been a few water sources on the trail, but they'll probably dry up by the time summer comes around. It is almost 3 o'clock. The picnic site is 3.2 miles away, so I can definitely make it there. There's roughly a mile of climbing. There's like a little dip, so it's probably not exactly a mile. And it's downhill to the site, and then to get to Swift Run Gap, there's like a little up and then a lot of down. So I might even be able to make it that far. A little bit of a rocky up here. I think it goes up to the right. These bugs are crazy. They keep flying into my eyes and my ears. Should have brought my bug net. This climb is actually longer than a mile. I'm almost at the top. I've got like 0.3 or something left. And then it's down to the picnic ground, which is 2.3 away. And then Swift Run Gap is 5.3 away. So if I can do that little uphill after the picnic area, I can get down to the gap. And then that'll be like 18 miles or something. I need to check the exact mileage. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the far point that I was hoping for, but I'll at least have this section done, except I skipped a little section between Hawksville parking and I forgot the name of the gap I got on. I was hoping to take Shrimp in the backpack out tomorrow, but I think it's supposed to be cold and rainy, and she's not going to like that. She is a little 7-pound cat for anyone who doesn't know what shrimp is. Something happened at the Thornton Gap entrance because I'm on the notification system. And there was a message saying that it was closed, and then it was one lane, and then one saying that RVs couldn't come through. So I don't know exactly what happened, but I'll probably be able to find out when I actually have Wi-Fi again. Snail shell with no snail. This thing is actually pretty big. That junction here is to the picnic ground. I'm gonna do the 3 miles to Swift Run Gap. Far out says there's space to pull off on the bridge, so I'm gonna get picked up there. Going down one of the fire roads now. It's a nice wide path. Flattish. There's a little bit of up and then mostly down. So I'm hoping this won't take too long. Because I'm starting to feel it in my hips a little bit. This is what I have to go up. It's like half a mile, so it's not like the worst thing ever. It's just at the end of the day. And then down, 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 down. Come on. Swift Run Gap. And that'll be it for today. These bugs are driving me crazy. Passed a couple who were coming down, and they were like, "Oh, this is such beautiful weather." And I was like, "Yeah, especially with how like horrible it's been." They were like, "Yeah, it looks like a war zone up here because there's so many tree branches down. I don't think it snowed that much up here in a while. Or I guess the ice, mostly. Because last year in March, it was beautiful. It wasn't this cold for most of the month, and I should have taken advantage of that, but whatever. I don't know if you can really see it. There's just tons and tons of trees and branches all over the place. Point 1 to the top, and then 2 miles downhill. I am going to sleep so great tonight. So glad I don't have to climb over this, because I would have definitely fallen off. Or tripped over something walking around it. Swift Run Gap is 1.4 ahead. South River Picnic Area is 1.9 back. There's nothing on that side. Saddleback Mountain Trail, South River Spring, South River Falls is down that way. I hope all this footage isn't just incredibly shaky, because that would be embarrassing. Finally found a little flower. Not sure what kind it is. There's another one. Oh, there's even more. This is amazing. I don't know if you can see it through the trees, but that is Swift Run Gap entrance. This way on the road is north, and the other way is south. There's about 2 miles or 0.2 until the bridge, where I'm gonna get picked up. But unless my mom is there, I'm gonna hide in the woods until she comes. For a second, I thought this was the biggest rat snake I'd ever seen, but it's actually some kind of cable. Which is kind of disappointing, because I haven't seen any snakes. This is Swift Run Gap. This is where I'm going to wait.